Welcome back to SAFC Live. Sunderland losing this afternoon by 2 goals to 1, Danny. A game, two halves, if you want to use a good cliche in football terms, though, because they came out in the second half and give it a real go, didn't they?
They did, yeah. To be fair to them, they did. But as I said, they're coming off damage was done in that first half. We weren't quite at it. Swansea popped the ball around quite well in the first half, got their goal, looked a threat from the kick-off, to be honest. And, come out second half. I think Tony Mowbray's got amongst them, I'd imagine, at half-time. And we come out with some energy in that second half, stop Swansea playing. They hurried in their clearances, give the ball away when they won it. We got that goal and we're just thinking, how can we kick on? And then obviously both teams start making substitutions. That momentum goes out of the game and we couldn't quite create enough as we would have liked. Ahmad had that one opportunity, didn't he, on his right foot. But unfortunately, it wasn't to be.
Let's have a look at some of the key moments in the game then this afternoon, if we can.
Yeah, and early on, wasn't it? First corner of the game, and this was the story really. Balls into our box today. We didn't deal with it well enough, as well as we have done. And you say, yes, we're not a big team, but you've still got reasonable height back there for set plays. The three I've talked about across the 6-yard line, in swinger there between Anthony Patterson and obviously come off Luke O'Nien, but we managed to scramble that one clear. And at the other end of the pitch, we had some half chances at best, didn't we? This one here from a set play. Milton just trying to feed it in behind their back line. Danny Bart trying to get off the back of Cabango, but this was an issue as well where we threaded balls. They almost set that trap for us, happy for us to play into the middle of the pitch, and they were ready to pounce on us, and that's what happened 3 or 4 times in that first half. That one there almost cost us as well. Patterson managed to tip it round the post.
Yeah, very frustrating first half for Sunderland, and another opportunity coming up here. It's the second goal, isn't it? Yes, it is. The first goal, isn't it? Sorry, the first goal. Sorry there, Dan.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, just runners in behind, and it's disappointing. You know, we can sit here and break it down, but you look there, we've got bodies back there, but it's all right having bodies back there, but you've got to match the runners. You've got to pick up and switch on and sense the danger, and we don't do it. Little clip ball over the top. Grimes is into the box. Why aren't we tracking him from midfield? And then on the reverse one into Cooper's path there, and you see just over the top there, Linden, look. He gets drawn slightly to the ball. Pritchard's come across between the 2-3 of them there at the bottom of your picture. There's arm waving going on. Don't like to see that. You know, do your job, match the runners, block them if you need to there, bump them off it, and it's in the back of the net.
And Swansea finding themselves there with space on the ball in our box as well this afternoon.
Yeah, Pirro on that occasion. Yeah, to ball in. It's not as if it's great movement from him. He stood still, but he's got 5 yards, isn't it? And then coming up to half time, and I'm just thinking, let's get in now, let's get it sorted, and try and come out and have a go in the second half. And look, it's a clip ball to the back post. We've been bumped off it there, not matching runners. I think Dan Neil gets blocked. Cabango at the far post heads it back across. Woods in there, making a nuisance of himself. Comes off him into Darling's path and he just pokes it home. And then that obviously proves to be the difference. But it's set plays, it's detail. You can do all your work in the week. You know, they put the markers up on the boards in the changing rooms. But then you've got to go out there, you've got to be big, you've got to be strong and brave. And you've got to put your head on things, and we haven't done that today enough, and that's what's cost us.
And here we are now into the second half. I forgot about that save from Patterson, because apart from this, in the early 20 minutes of the second half, it was all Sunderland, which you'll see from now on in.
Yeah, it is, to be fair. Yeah, we had a couple of set plays. This one, I think Danny Bart's trying to get on the end of it from Pritchard. Embleton handball on the follow-up. But, yeah, we were bright second half. A lot of the loose second balls we were picking up. You know, we put Jack Clark up there through the middle, caused himself to be a bit of a nuisance for their back line. And you see here, we're driving forward. He's got options there. Jack Clark doesn't need it. Lovely, just shifts it half a yard onto his left foot. Cabango tries to get the block in through his legs. And you see Jack there trying to get the fans up. And we got that goal. And for the next 10 minutes, I thought, right, we're at it here. We're going to get back into this game. But we had a lot of bright play. And you could just feel that momentum change. And they were nervous. You could hear the crowd nervous when they were on the ball. Swansea at the back. But we couldn't kick on and we couldn't get that second goal. But it's a lovely finish from Jack. Went up there, asked to go and play through the middle, which I'm sure he'd prefer to stay where he was on that left-hand side. But that's that left foot we talked about. Use it more often. He's got it in him. You don't have to drive it as such. Just shift it, and it's almost just passes it into the far corner. And then Swansea obviously made the changes. Then Obafemi come on, didn't he? That one there, Luke O'Nien, a little bit of panic. Didn't need to slide really. No one around him. Pokes it into, I think it was Fulton who got the shot away, wasn't it? But it's a great save from Anthony Patterson.
Yeah, looking back on the game, actually, Anthony Patterson probably made 2 or 3 really good saves, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, yeah. Say that one early on, clawed it off his line. That one there's a really good save. And the one a minute ago from Manning, which he palmed up to his left-hand side. And then this one again, yeah, so you forget about him, don't you? You know, just looking back now, he has had to make a few saves. Set play again, we've got numbers back there. Cabango heads it down. I'm not sure who it was.
It's Pirro who gets
Pirro at the far post. Yeah, he'll be disappointed he's not put it away. But good reactions from Pato in goal. And here's that one from Ahmad off the bench, jinks his way through. Doesn't really catch it. You know, maybe can he just bend it round that defender in front of him into that far corner? Comes off the defender, a little clip on his heels, doesn't it? But it doesn't really trouble the goalie straight at him.
There was a little period here where you felt like Sunderland just needed to put their foot through the ball on the edge of the box.
That was it. That was our real last opportunity, wasn't it, of the game? Looking at that one from Ahmad there, as we see from the highlights there, we didn't kick on really. We made the 4 substitutions, and as we've seen down at Watford, it worked a couple of weeks ago. But unfortunately, I said there, damage is done in the first half. Always an uphill task. 2-0 down at half-time, couldn't get back into the game and grab a point. So it's disappointing. That's 2 points now from a possible 9 in the last week. So it's not great. So we've got to get back to it.
Let's have a look at the latest scores from in and around the Championship this afternoon then. We'll just leave this on the screen and maybe we can discuss a few of these. Birmingham 3, Bristol City 0, Blackburn 3, Rotherham 0, Blackpool 3, Watford 1. Watford's bad form continues. Coventry 0, Burnley 1, Millwall 2, Middlesbrough 0. Another big result against Middlesbrough. Norwich 2, Preston 3. Stoke City 3, Sheffield United 1's a big result at the top end. West Brom 0, Luton 0. The wars continue for Steve Bruce down there. And Wigan 1, Cardiff City 3. Or Sunderland, of course, playing Wigan next weekend. Danny, is any that you want to pull out there?
I think the big shock one there is 5 goals in a Preston game. Looking at it, unbelievable. No, I think the happiest team today will probably be QPR, who won last night. Went joint top with, I think, was it Norwich and Sheffield United, and both of those have lost today. So they're perhaps the results you look at. Burnley going well, taking a 1-0 on the road, and I think you're looking at 3 promoted sides have all lost today. So Wigan's home form, I think they're bottom of the table, right up there for their away form, but they're struggling at home, Wigan. So yeah, some goals there, a few threes on the board. Yeah,
with those results in Sunderland this afternoon, I understand Sunderland have dropped down to 11th in the Championship. It's nothing to worry about.
No, that's how tight it is, isn't it? Yeah. We said before the game we can go 5th today if results go for us. You lose, and then all of a sudden you're looking over your shoulder.
Let's have a look at your thoughts now in hashtag Ask Danny. We always ask for your opinions. Just use that hashtag Ask Danny every single game we're on air, and we'll put your opinions into the post-game programme like we're doing right now with Michael's tweet, who says, watching the lads in Madeira with Harriet Robson, and says, much improved second half, but sorely lacking a striker, which has been the same story in the last 3. Could have been 7 from 9. It's so disappointing. Danny, he makes a good point, doesn't he, Michael?
Yeah, I think that's the obvious one, isn't it? Are we missing a striker? And yeah, we got away with it, didn't we, for a couple of games down at Reading, Watford, 5 goals. And then obviously a couple of blanks back at the Stadium of Light, and then obviously today, Jack's popped up and got us a goal. But in general, it's not just the goals. I think it's just general play. You know, I said it in comms there. I think it's that bounce pass. You ask Patrick or Jack when they're coming off the wings, they want to roll it into a striker. You know, somebody who can pin a centre half. It's natural to them back to play and just to lend it back into their path. And Jack done it okay when he went up there in that second half as well. But you don't really want to see Jack Clark playing through the middle. You want to see him out on that left hand side. Obviously, we'll say, well, where Ellis Sims, how far off's Ellis, how far off is Ross, how far have we got to go before a natural striker comes in? I don't think the club looking at it aren't going to bring anyone else. Yes, you could perhaps look to go out and get a free transfer in, somebody who's out of contract. But now you're looking...
Tony Mowbray kind of suggested that he looked at all the options there, though, didn't he, in a recent press conference?
What, in terms of getting somebody who's out of contract?
Agent,
free agent. And you can do that, but how fit are they in terms of match fit? And I said a few weeks ago, 9 times out of 10, you're looking at perhaps an aging striker maybe, into their 30s. Are they going to be match sharp, ready to come in? That top end of the pitch, you want someone who's going to be lively in and around the box? Or are you looking at a bit of a bruiser, just somebody who can get hold of it, where we can get those little talented technical players involved in and around the box? Yeah, just a wall player really. But the recruitment team might feel that they're looking how far off Ellis is. Is he a couple of weeks away? Is he ready to come back in? So they might feel it's just more wages bringing somebody in. But I'm sure, the fans are watching it like we are, thinking that's just what we're lacking at this moment in time. Last couple of home games, firing blanks, great. We had clean sheets at the back, but as he said there with the tweet, we're obviously let a few points slip. We feel at home, if we're honest, in those 2 games. And certainly today, that first 45, we weren't quite at it, but we come out second half and we were the better team. So on another day, we could have took a point. Did we deserve it? Arguably, but the damage was done in that first half.
Yeah, okay then, let's move on to another of your opinions now, and hashtag Ask Danny. It's our friend, the music teacher, who says, with a few strikers injured, it made me wonder about injuries in general, Danny. What's your worst injury you've had, and what was your recovery like? And how about the mental side to the recovery as well?
Well, fortunately, I didn't have too many bad ones throughout my career. I had one at Nottingham Forest, ruptured my ankle ligaments, come down off a header, snapped all my ligaments. I was out for 10 weeks, I think. Hate being injured. Hate the recovery side of it. You do all your pre-season and you're basically doing another pre-season when you come back in. I think it was October time when I'd done it, sort of now really. So then you're out for 10 weeks. And then you're a bit lonely really. You're with depending if there's other lads injured, of course, but then you're with the physio. You see the boys going out for training, 10:30, getting the boots on. They're on the training pitch while you're doing your rehab. You're either in the pool or laps with the physio while you're watching the boys training. So it's not great. You have to be obviously strong mentally, and you have to try and get back as soon as you can. But when you feel ready, I tried to kid myself a little bit coming back towards it. I think we'd had a couple of bad results. I think the manager was asking me, how far off are you? And you're sort of saying, I'm not far off now. And mentally you're trying to tell yourself you're ready. I was all right on the straight line running, but then when I was doing some curb running and pushing off, I could still feel it. So you weren't ready. So I'm sure Ellis is like that. Ross has played all those minutes for us, game after game. Then all of a sudden he gets injured in the warm-ups. Not as if he's done it in a game as well. I think he was doing a few shooting drills before the Middlesbrough game.
Before kick-off down to Middlesbrough, wasn't it?
So that's a sickener for him. Yeah. And are we missing him? Of course we're missing him. And then next game, Ellis picks up his injury half an hour in at Reading. So it's not ideal. Not ideal for Tony Mowbray coming into a job fresh, and all of a sudden he hasn't got any natural strikers to choose from. So he's had to try and get through it these last few weeks. We're changing the formation. We tried Ahmed up there on Tuesday night against Blackpool. Took him back out today. Went back with almost early on with Pritchard and Embleton as a front two. Really, they were rotating it. Then you could see him changing it halfway through that first half. Went to a 4-3-3.
Could you argue it worked with Jack Clark in the second half?
Yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised now if you say if Ellis isn't going to be fit, he may well go with Jack through the middle. I'd imagine so, but then it's tinkering it around there. Where do we go then?
Because
play Jefferson off the left-hand side.
Creativity on the left.
Yeah,
so
that natural winger. So Jefferson may come in and play that. He went over to the far side on the right for Patrick when he come on. So yeah, it's something they look at. So you think now, well, we aren't scoring goals as such in the last few games. Jack's done okay there second half.
He's picked up a few goals this season.
Yeah, he has as well. Yeah, to be fair. So he might look at starting in there, then work the team around him. Look at the opposition as well. But then, if we're going to play Jack through the middle, what's the best way to fit the lads in and around Jack?
Okay, then let's move on to the next one then, please. Here on hashtag Ask Danny. This one's from Lee. If you believe the rumours, Sunderland have been looking for a striker in the free agent market. Do you think this would be beneficial? And is the recruitment based on stats more effective than assessing a player's character? I'm sure everything's taken into account, which Christian Speakman said to us on the Unfiltered podcast. It's all speculation about the free agent market.
Well, it says on the screen there, doesn't it, if you believe in rumours. I like to believe it when you see the scarf picture above the head at the academy. Again, I'm not obviously involved in that side of it, but they might have looked at it in the last week and thought, well, prior to the 2 home games, let's see how we get on. We'd scored 5 goals, I said it there, without a striker. Nobody really mentions it as such, and in terms of you getting away with it for so long. And then all of a sudden, we have a couple of blanks at home, and the fans are going to say, well, we're missing a striker. And it has been obvious. And for me, not just the goals, just that general play around the box. I'm sure they've had a look at the free agent market. They'll be weighing stuff up in terms of...
But there's obviously no one out there then, if they have looked at it.
If they haven't brought anyone in so far, and there's obviously talk about Max Thompson in the 21s. I think he's done okay, but...
It's a big step.
But the next question will say, well, if he's done okay, why isn't he even coming on the bench? We've tried Diaco up there. Ahmad's started up there as well, and he's come on there today just in behind Jack Clark. But if Max Thompson is a natural striker, why isn't he at least on the bench? Give him 20 minutes and see how he gets on. So they mustn't feel he's ready. And then, the question's there, do you think this would be beneficial to look at a free agent And is it based on stats more than assessing of a player's character? I don't know. I'm sure that obviously when we spoke to Christian, he said, yes, we'd look at obviously not just the stats, but if bringing the right character in, somebody who's going to come in who wants to buy into the
philosophy, understands the club, understands the area.
And the way it goes, rather than somebody if they come in, oh, is he a bit of a bad egg, but can he do a job? You know, I'm not sure if that's what they're going to look at, but at this moment in time, they've got on with it. We're using what's fit. But yeah, we obviously need to start scoring some more goals.
Okay, then let's have a look at what I think might be the final one. From Kev, who says, disappointing to not come away with anything after a decent second half performance. Would it have been an easier pill to swallow if we turned one of those home 0-0 draws into a win? We need more options up from with Stewart and Sims out. No movement up front. Again, someone questioning what's happening at the top end of the pitch.
Yeah, well, his first point is there, would it have been an easier pill to swallow if we'd have picked up, so you'd have took 4 points from them home games. You go away on the road, and yes, we've been better in terms of our results on the road, and so have Swansea, by the way. But going down there today, we knew it was going to be tough. They're sixth. They've won 4 of the last 5 prior to today. That's 5 in the last 6. So they're going well. Confidence, obviously, from winning games. But I'd still fancy us against anyone in the league so far. That's we're over a quarter of the way through the season. I haven't seen anything from the teams we've played. We've played the top 2, top 3, if you like, with QPR in there. Should have beat them.
In the first half, I thought Swansea might have been one of the better sides we've played this season.
Well, you said it, off comms, you said Swansea have been arguably the best team we've seen so far this season. Yeah, they got their passing game going, got their goal, and then they settled down and they just took the sting out of the game and kept the ball. It was almost walking pace at times. Darling was striding forward.
In the second half, they didn't do that as well, though,
and that's where we just needed to get in, shut up shop. Get in now, lads, it's 1-0.
Yeah.
Get in half-time, have your drink, have a few words with the gaffer, see what he's got to say, and then come out second half and get back up, which we did. And I know hindsight, we would have took a point, but we conceded a sloppy goal, ball into the box there, just get a head on it. Nobody's even touched tight, no contact, bouncing round, bang, 2-0.
Yeah.
And that's the damage.
Damage done, yeah.
So, damage in that box. And then, obviously, at the top end of the pitch, there wasn't enough there. He's saying it there. We need more options up front with Stewart and Sims out. No movement up top. And it's right. And you said there, Lyndon Goose had an opportunity to put a ball in. I think Patrick did. And they both turned it down because I think they're looking up and thinking, I don't really want to chuck a ball in there because they've got big centre-halves in there. We haven't really got too much height and it's going to get cleared. Then we're running back towards our own goal. So the only option really is that, when you get to the byline, it's that low fizzed cross, hoping that someone can get on the end of it. But we didn't really see too many of those balls going in there today either, did we? Yeah. So
we saw a couple in the first half where Pritchard almost got on the end of a Roberts cross from the right-hand side.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, as you say, it's a conundrum, isn't it, for Tony Mowbray? He's the only man who can fix it.
He'll be the one. He'll be back on the bus now with the lads. He'll be scratching his head, guaranteed. That game's gone now. Looking forward to the next one. What can we do now to affect the next game? What do I go formation-wise, personnel? He's got all those thoughts, I'm sure, going on in his head with Mark Venus and the other coaching staff as well.
Yeah.
But that's what they get paid for, and they've got to try and turn it around for us.
Before we go, a quick word on the officials this afternoon. There's a couple of times where we were scratching our heads as to some of the decisions made. I think Ajay Alessi had his shirt ripped off his chest and nothing was given, and then was told to go off the field of play
change his
shirt.
Yeah, his ripped shirt. You question a couple of the bookings maybe. I think he actually let a couple go as well. But, we talked about...
5 yellows for Sunderland this afternoon.
How many?
2 for them.
Swansea, yeah. So we talked about refs last season and it wasn't great. Listen, I've played at all levels and you question refs, you'll watch Match of the Day tonight and you'll question referee decisions.
Well, at least in the Premier League, though, they've got the got the VAR now,
VAR to help them out as well, but they still get things wrong on there, don't they? It's frustrating. Again, I try and look at our performance first up and, maybe the referee could have helped out on 1 or 2 occasions. Swansea, you speak to Swansea fans and they'll say the same thing, so... Yeah. Did we deserve anything from the game as a whole? Perhaps not. When you're chasing a game as much as we left it out there to do, we perhaps left ourselves short today. Yeah,
it'd be interesting to see what Tony Mowbray thought of today's game, and you'll be able to hear that and see that at safc.com, probably first on Sunderland's social media channels following this broadcast this afternoon. We are next in action. No midweek game for Sunderland next week. Saturday, back at the Stadium of Light, 3 p.m. kickoff at home to Wigan Athletic. So we're looking forward to that one. We'll be on air from 2:30 here on SAFC Live. That's it from us this afternoon. It's finished Swansea City 2, Sunderland 1. Whatever you're doing with the rest of your weekend, have a good one. We'll see you soon.